What's up everyone, hope you all are doing good. I am Chaitanya and welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be very interesting because this is one of the most awaited video on this channel, as I am going to share my first interview experience that made me get a job offer. So let's get started. So the name of the company is Reliance Jio, and the recruitment process was quite similar to that of the other mass recruiters. So I will be directly putting the screenshot of eligibility criteria and the CTC company offered somewhere here. So the students who were eligible were allowed to give the qualifier test, which was divided into two parts. The first part was consist of some basic grammar questions, some basic new mathematical numericals, and some tricky puzzles that we used to solve in our like 7 or 8 standard scholarship exams. And so that was about the first part. If you ask me the difficulty level, according to me the difficulty level was 70% easy and 30% medium, I would say. Then the second part consists of two coding questions. The first one was easy and the second one was little difficult or medium level question. So after the qualifier test, the interview process was something like, those who will clear the first part of qualifier test, they will have to face two interviews, L0 and L1, and those who will clear first part as well as solve any one coding question or both the questions from second part were directly promoted to L1 interview round. So in my case, I could clear the first part of qualifier test as well as I could only solve the first coding questions from part 2 of the qualifier test, and the second coding question was little medium level questions and I could not solve that, but first one was easy, I could easily solve that. So then there was the interview round, for which I was really very nervous because it was my first time when I cleared a company's aptitude test, coding round, and was promoted to interview round. So basically it was my first time to face interview. So luckily I have a friend who had gone through same recruitment process of Reliance Jio, and he had guided me very well about the types of questions that are asked in interviews. So he had told me to basically focus on all the basics of core subjects, like what programming language you prefer. Like mine was Java, so I went through all the basic concepts of Java, and also additionally I went through frequently asked questions from Java, then some SQL basic and basic codes like to check the string is palindrome or not, then the basic of cloud computing, networking, OSI layers. So all the basics like SDLC testing. So all the core subjects were more focused, and from that also basic concepts were more focused on. So I revised all these things and sat for the interview. So on the interview day, I woke up early in the morning. My interview was scheduled at 10 o'clock. So around 7 o'clock, I started touching up things like the basic questions that you should be well prepared of. Includes tell me about yourself, why should we hire you, tell me about the company, means the company which you are sitting for, you should know some basic facts of that company, and then at last they may ask if you have any questions. So you should be well framed all these questions. So that I did. I touch up all the questions in the morning, and before 1 hour of the interview I was totally relaxed. I relaxed myself, and so at 10 o'clock I joined the meeting, and I was very nervous, but somehow I managed to take things smoothly. So interviewer said me to introduce myself, so whatever I framed, I was prepared, I said. And I had mentioned in my hobbies that I do DIY stuff. So he asked me what kind of DIY stuff I do. So I explained him that I give an example that I can run my Wi-Fi router, which is 12 volt, on my normal mobile power bank. So he was impressed of that example, and then he moved on to my resume, and from my resume he asked me to explain one of my project, and I explained that project very well. I was really very well prepared for each and everything that I mentioned in my resume. So I explained him that project very well, and he had very less question on the same. So he didn't ask any, I don't know why, but my that was only my interview. I had introduced myself. He asked me about the DIY stuff I do, that I mentioned in my hobbies part of the introduction, and then he asked me about the project, and I explained my project, and that's it. So then after that he asked me about my family background, and also asked me about how will I travel to office, as the place where I live, and I mean the distance between the office and place I live in Mumbai is quite like around 30-35 kilometers. So he asked me how will I manage to travel to office daily. And I was not asked many technical questions as compared to my friends. If you have any projects on ML AI, then they would definitely ask it. And what I mean to say is, the Jio Reliance interview, technical interview, was more focused on basics of all the core subjects. They will ask almost everything from your resume only. They won't ask anything out of it. So think twice before framing your resume. Don't fake anything. If you are going to be part of any recruitment process, then see if you have any friend who have gone through the same recruitment process of same company, so you will get an idea of overall how is the process from him, and you can accordingly prepare your revision or what all you are going to prepare. Then frame all the common questions like, tell me about yourself, why should we hire you, also you should know what the company does. So that's it. That was my first interview experience that made me get a job offer. It was really unexpected, like I got placed in my first interview only. I really never expected that. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.